Very good morning, cadets. Hope you have gone through previous videos related to the important points of chapter 4 and 5 related to the history. Today let us discuss about the important points of chapter 1 and, if time permits, 1 and 2. Cadets, please remember, in class 6th you studied about the early Indian history, and at present, that is in class 7th, you are studying about medieval Indian history, and in class 8th you are going to study about modern Indian history. In previous video sessions I discussed the classification of history, that is periodization of history. Periodization of history, or history, is divided on the basis of period or the year. This periodization of history is purely done on the basis of the time period. The British arrival to India, that is in 1600, and history thereafter considered as the modern Indian history. The history from 7th century till 16th century considered as medieval Indian history, and prior to that it is called as ancient Indian history. So in class 7th we already studied, of course, about tracing changes through 1000 years. Means what changes in that we read about over 1000 years. Changes may be social, economic, political, or technological changes, or a rise and fall of empire, or rise of new empires or the kingdoms, and the changes in the style of construction, temple construction, infrastructures. So all those things we already studied, of course, not going to study. We already studied in the class 7th history. So let us study, or let us discuss the key points of chapter number 1. The key points of chapter number 1. The name of chapter is Tracing Changes Through 1000 Years. The map of Arab cartographer or geographer Al-Idrisi, geographer and French cartographer, in 1720 gave a large sketch of Indian subcontinent as known earlier times. The science of cartography, however, different in two time periods. The cartography or map skills, it is different from the earlier two periods. That means the French cartography and Arabian cartography is entirely different. Of course, that we discussed in detail when the chapter was on. New and old terminologies. Historical record exists in variety of languages. The term Hindustan was coined by Minhaj-e-Siraj, a chronicler who wrote Persian for areas around Punjab, Haryana, and the lands between Ganga and Yamuna. Whenever we speak Hindustan, today when we speak Hindustan or India, that is the undivided territory, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh. This is a map of India. So today what we refer Hindustan is the geographical area of India. But what was Hindustan during those days? That is the area around Punjab, Haryana and the lands between Ganga and Yamuna considered as Hindustan. But is it same throughout? It's not same. Actually, Babar, is there a spelling error is there? Babar used Hindustan to describe subcontinent along with its flora and fauna. According to Babar, Hindustan refers to the flora and fauna of India, not about the geography. 14th century poet Amir Khusro used the word Hind. In Hindi, the term Paradesi was used to describe an alien. In Persian, it was called as Ajnabi. So, in the term Paradesi, or the person who belongs to a different terrain or a land, is called as Ajnabi. So, that is the terminologies which is used differently in the initial days. Historians and their sources. The information about medieval period is derived from two sources, archaeological and literary sources. When we studied about the sources to study history, archaeological sources, inscriptions, monuments, coins, which is called as numismatics, all are considered as part of the source. And whenever the writing material, literacy or literary sources, also considered as one of the major source to study history. Of course, cadets, here you have to also recall what are the limitations of sources to study history. Means whatever the source, for example, inscriptions, monuments, coins. Limitations of these inscriptions or coins and the monuments you have to recall simultaneously when we discuss the point. Archaeological source available to us includes monuments, temples, coins, tombs, ornaments and painting. So whenever we discuss about archaeological sources, it includes monuments. So we studied about two types of monuments. One is the monuments or the buildings meant for private purpose, the king's palace or the nearby office or administrative buildings, considered as private space of a king. At the same time, every king constructed few buildings for the public use. They are the temples, wells. So every king concentrated on two types of monuments. One for private, another for public. Coins. The study of coins is very important because the study of coins definitely depicts the economic health of the kingdom. Not only that, even the religious or the faith for which the king is generally belongs to, all those things are considered very important for the purpose of studying coins, which is called as numismatic. Tombs means the place where the dead body of Muslim saints or Sufi or in general is kept. That is called the worshipping place, because Sufi Dargah, it is a worshipping place. Ornaments and paintings. Ajanta and Ellora, a fantastic example of wonderful painting. Until today, we are not completely aware of What are the materials used for the painting done in Ajanta? Ornaments. So all those things, cadets, please, whenever we discuss the points, please try to recall what we studied in the regular videos. Since point number 3, since paper became available in good quantum, a lot of written accounts in the form of chronicles, autobiographies, sermons and accounts of foreign travels is available from this period in Persian and Arabic. Now, after 16th century, the printing press, after the invention of printing press, lot of autobiographies. Firman, what is called firman? Firman is nothing but royal order. For example, Jahangir issued firman to the British to trade in India, because when British landed in India in 1600, Jahangir was the king of India, means the Mughal emperor. He permitted, that is a royal firman. Later, even Aurangzeb also issued a royal firman. Royal firman means royal order. Foreign travelers, accounts of foreign travelers. What is called account of foreign travels? Those foreign travelers who visit India, they write about India. That is called foreign travelers. Ian Batuta, Pahian, Chinese travelers. Why the foreign travelers accounts are very important? The foreign travelers accounts are very important because the foreign travelers generally they project the actual picture of India or any country for that matter, because a person who is patronized by the king, he cannot write the negative points of the king because he is sponsored by the king, whereas this bondage is not there for a foreign traveler. That is why a foreign traveler, foreign accounts are very important from the period in Persian and Arabic. New social and political group. The study of 1000 years between 700 to 1750 is a huge challenge to historians, largely because the scale and variety of development that occurred over the period. So why the new political and it is difficult to study? Because 1000 years is a huge time period, of course. In such a huge time period, various or the variety of development definitely occurred. So that's the reason why it is very difficult to keep an intact account of all those occurrence between 700 to 1750. This was a period of great mobility. One such group was Rajputras or Rajputs. The other groups were warriors of Marathas, Sikh, Jat, Ahoms and Kayasthas. So medieval Indian history, I told you, seen as a rise of new kingdoms. The rise of new kingdoms, for example, Rajputras, later they called Rajputs. They were called as Rajputs. And taking the advantage of political situation or the turmoil, the Marathas, under the able leadership of Chhatrapati Shivaji, they could establish a solid kingdom. Sikh, Jats, Ahoms. Ahom is a tribal group. Then Kayastha. So, the various groups like Maratha, Rajputs, Sikh, Jats and Ahoms and Kayasthas, so they started gaining importance in the medieval Indian period. That is what it was, a period of great mobility. One such group was that is one such group of people was Rajputras. Other group were warriors, Marathas, Sikh, Jat, Ahoms and Kayasthas. Okay. Throughout the period, there was a gradual clearing of forest and extension of agriculture. Challenge in their habitat forced many forest dwellers to migrate. But the one more change which took place in the medieval Indian history, that is about clearing of forest for the purpose of agriculture. Why the clearing of forest was a common feature? Because whenever the increased population resulted in increased demand for food grains. So if you want to meet the increased demand for food grains, definitely there is need to clear the forest. So clearing of forest for the agricultural activity or for the extension of agricultural activity, it is one of the major change which took place in the medieval Indian history, and challenges in their habitat forced many forest dwellers to migrate. Now when forest area was cleared, what is the result? What is another challenge or problem faced? That those who were the forest dwellers who settled down in forest, they started migrating from forest to different places, or the few started rebelling against the kings. If you in class 9th and 10th, you are going to study about forest laws during colonial period. Let it be British or the Dutch in Indonesia, British in India, introduced several forest laws. The forest laws such as like Criminal Tribes Act or the Reserved Forest Act. Now what happened in a Reserved Forest Act? The British government declared certain forest as the protected forest and reserved forest. And inside protected forest and the reserved forest, people were not allowed to stay. Not only that, people are not allowed to take their animal for the grazing activities. People were not, or the forest dwellers were not allowed to collect the forest product. So all those responsible for the rebellion, that is what Bastar rebellion during the freedom movement, you can see Bastar rebellion, or even a place in Karnataka, place called Nargunda and Navalgunda, there was a rebellion by the hunter gatherers. So this is one of the major change which took place in the medieval Indian history. As a society became more differentiated, people were grouped into jatis or subcaste and ranked on the basis of their background and their occupation. So people are divided on the basis of caste, that is we already studied, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now new caste started emerging because of the new occupations. Ranks were fixed permanently, not fixed permanently, and varied according to the power, influence and resource controlled by members of Jati. So Jati Panchayat, Jati, membership of Jati, they gained lot of importance. Because of that only, the resources were controlled by a few people, that led to various changes in the later period. It was during this period the important change occurred in the religion. It included the worship, please write down, that is a worship of new deities, construction of temples by royalty, and growing importance of Brahmins in the Hindu religion, that is called Brahminical domination. Knowledge of Sanskrit helped Brahmins to earn respect. Islam was patronized by many rulers. Historical periods. The British historians divided history of India into three periods: Hindu, Muslim and British. Most historians took to economic and social factors to characterize the major element of different moments of past. The life of hunter-gatherer, early farmers and early empire was called early society. The growth of imperial state formations, development of Hinduism and Islam as a major religion, and arrival of European trading companies was called as medieval period. European trading company, please remember, English East India Company, French East India Company, Dutch East India Company, and the Portuguese. So European trading companies. Regarding this, in brief, you will study in class 8th and later in higher classes, that is 9th and 10th. In the last era was called as modernity, which carried a sense of material progress and intellectual development. So modern Indian history reference about the material progress and intellectual development. So history is divided into three periods, that is ancient, medieval and modern, but British historians divided in history into Hindu, Muslim and British. That's the reason why this classification was objected, because the classification is purely done on the basis of religion. That is not correct. So today the activity of keynotes related to chapter number 1, that is tracing changes through 1000 years, and this video is for Saturday, that is for 23rd January 2021. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 slides related to chapter number 1. Take care. Wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.